Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursday. So today we are going to be talking about summer fragrances. Now you may recall that last week I just shared with you what I consider to be my top 10 picks from all of the Middle Eastern fragrances that have been launched during 2025. I shared with you what I consider to be my top 10 picks as far as summer fragrances are concerned. But today I'm going to be sharing with you 22 fragrances. Now, for those of you who have been with me from the beginning of my Middle Eastern fragrances journey, you will recall many of these fragrances because these are all fragrances that have had a chance to sit in my collection for a minimum of a year. And today, I just want to share with you these 22 fragrances that I consider to be my all-time favorites as it relates to summer Middle Eastern fragrances. Now, I'm going to move rather quickly because if not, we'll be here forever because they are 22 fragrances. And the good news is that I've already shared and reviewed in detail all of these fragrances here on the channel. So if you enter the name of the fragrance in the search bar of the channel page, all the videos where I discuss the specific fragrance that you're looking for will come up and you will find a detailed review there. Today, I will give you a little bit of information about each, but we are going to move rather quickly. As I do so, I also will not be sharing them in any particular order because it would be literally impossible for me to rank these fragrances because they are all deep loves, which is why they are still in my collection after a year or more, and which is why they're part of this lineup today. Now, keep in mind that I am not sharing brand new 2025 releases in this video. I am sharing with you my all-time favorites that have been sitting in my collection for a while, so they've had a chance to settle, maturate, whatever you want to call it, but they've been sitting in my collection for over a year, so I can clearly tell you how I feel about them and why they are part of my top picks. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in, and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. So the first fragrance that I want to share with you today is from Ahmed Al-Maghribi. And you guys know how much I enjoy that fragrance house. And this one is Layana. Now, Layana is a fragrance that I've never heard anybody talk about it being inspired by any other fragrance. And in the time that I've had it, I haven't been able to identify any inspired by fragrance, so I think this is pretty much a standalone. Now, this is an exquisitely beautiful fragrance that I consider to be quite feminine. Now, at that, what I love about this fragrance is that it balances the florals and the fruity notes in such a beautiful way. As far as the florals, here you're going to find some rose, you're going to find some heliotrope and orchid. And of those three, I would say that you are going to pick up on the rose more than the other florals at certain points of the olfactory journey, but the rose is not very dominant in this fragrance compared to the other florals. As far as the fruity notes, you are going to find some raspberry, if I recall correctly, and you are also going to pick up some citrusy notes, and amongst them, I know that there is some tangerine. But what I love about this fragrance is that although it is a floral fruity fragrance, it's not excessively sweet. It's not excessively fruity. The florals don't, overpower the fruity notes. It is just a very well blended and balanced fragrance that at that is just perfect for the summer season. This is one that I like to pull for those occasions that are not necessarily dressy or very formal or anything like that, but where I just want to feel beautifully feminine because, as I said, it is truly, in my opinion, a feminine fragrance. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Gulf Orchid, and this is from the Musk collection from last year, and this one is Tahara Vanilla. Now, if you saw me haul and review this fragrance here on the channel, you're probably wondering, okay, Arahi, is that the same bottle? Well, it is. It is the same bottle. But as you can see, it's gone from like a very white liquid to like a tan kind of juice. But that is all due to the maturation process because it has been sitting in my collection for a little bit over a year. Now, this is a fragrance that is extremely vanilla centric. And I have to tell you that, the entire Musk collection from Gulf Orchid, every year they seem to have a collection. And I did share with you this year's collection. And I've had it sitting here waiting for it to go through the maturation and maceration process, to then share with you my full review. But I can tell you that it took this one quite a while to reach the point that it's at now. But when I tell you that this vanilla musk-based fragrance could compete with the best of the best vanilla-centric fragrances in my entire collection, I mean it, because right now, this one is a powerhouse. Not necessarily that it's a beast mode fragrance because it really still is very much musk based and it's very smooth, but it does have that incredibly present and dominant, beyond a shadow of a doubt, vanilla note. At that, there are a bit of florals in this fragrance, and none of them really stick out to me more, one over the other or anything like that, because again, this is all about the vanilla. And the fragrance also has a bit of greenness. But when I tell you that right now, this is such an addictive and beautiful vanilla fragrance for the summer, it is perfection. It's like second skin if you infuse like a real beautiful vanilla note to it. Let us know if you also have Tahara vanilla, because I know a lot of Femme members did pick it up. Has yours had the chance to go through the maturation process? And does it look tanned like that? And do you pick up on that very, very dominant vanilla note? The next fragrance that I want to share with you is not going to come as a surprise if you've been with me from the beginning of my Middle Eastern fragrances journey, or if you've been with me for a bit of time, because this one is from niche Emarati, of course, Lattafa, and this is Remas. Now, Remas is the most exquisite mango fragrance you could possibly imagine. And it took me quite a while to really narrow down to what it's really inspired by. But I have to tell you that the one that comes the closest, at least, on my skin and to my nose, it would be Paco Rabanne Femme. But at that, I have to tell you that I pick up in Remas a level of amberiness that I do not pick up at all in Paco Rabanne's Femme. This is a fragrance that has a mango note that has been done exquisitely. It is a very rich and juicy and sweet, just perfect mango. Very, very realistic mango. There are some florals here, and I do pick up a little bit on like a jasmine, but that is not the center or the star of this fragrance. The star of this fragrance is definitely the mango. There are other mango fragrances, Middle Eastern mango-centric fragrances that I could have pulled for this lineup, but I had to default and go back to Remas because Remas is a fragrance that I've told you time and time again that one of the things that I really appreciate about it is that it's so versatile. This is a fragrance that if you really wanted to, you could pull it for any season of the year. For me, this is more of a spring, summer, and maybe even fall kind of fragrance. If I pull it during the winter, I would have to layer it with something with a bit more darkness, because this is definitely not a fruity lala fragrance, but it is truly a mango-centric fragrance. This is perfection for the summer season. I think that that is the season where you will see this fragrance bloom the most, and you will enjoy it and make justice to it the best. Because this is truly a mango-centric fragrance that will allow you to dress it up, dress it down. You could take it on vacation. It does have a bit of a tropical vibe, but it's not just all about that, which is what I love about this fragrance. The versatility to dress it up, dress it down, and just take it for any occasion. The next fragrance that I have for you is not going to come as a surprise because this is a fragrance that we talked about so much. I think it was last year, I'm pretty sure. And this one is from Stag, and this is Expressions 4 or Quatre. Now, this is a fragrance that is supposed to be inspired by Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim. And yes, I do get I do get that clearly. This fragrance is the most citrusy, zesty fragrance that I have in my collection. And whenever I talk to you about a fragrance that focuses on citrusy notes, I inevitably have to bring up Quatre because it is just perfection. Here you have some citrusy notes and they are zesty because you have some orange and you have some grapefruit. They are the stars of this fragrance. But in addition to that, you are going to find the note of coconut and ginger. I barely pick up on the coconut. And if you've been with me for a while, you know I've had this fragrance for quite a long time. And I have to tell you that I still don't pick up clearly on the coconut. Now that it's had a chance to sit, the coconut is like very faint in the background. I don't even try to pick it up because when I use this fragrance, for me, it is all about that citrusy, bordering on zesty kind of quality of the fragrance that cannot be compared to anything else that I have in my collection. I do want to remind you that this is a fragrance that has ambroxan. So if you are one of those Femme members that is sensitive to ambroxan, then remember that this one is not for you. Other than that, this is an incredibly gorgeous fragrance for the summer season if you are looking for a citrusy, perfect summer fragrance. The next fragrance is one that as soon as I mention it, you're going to be like, Arahi, yes. Okay, here we go again. So this one is from Paris Corner and this is Taskeen Marina. Now this is a fragrance that I was obsessed with for quite a while, months and months, and it is perfection for the summer season. Now this one has had a chance to sit. I'm pulling it because I'm planning to use it this summer. This is a fragrance that is a combination of white florals and fruity notes. Now, the fruity notes that have been disclosed here are orange and peach, okay? And from the white florals right now that it's had a chance to sit, I'm not distinguishing any specific white floral. But what I am picking up is on that orange and peach note. But most importantly, and I've been saying this all along, and now that it's had a chance to sit, it's even more of a marked presence for me. These two notes have not been disclosed, but I am not crazy. I am picking up watermelon and a touch of mango in this fragrance clearly. That watermelon is so present, it's almost like the dominant note of the fragrance now that it's had a chance to sit. To me, it is very obvious, it's very juicy, it's very sweet, and it's very present. And then there's that mango, which is not very present. It is a bit faint, but it is definitely there. This is a fragrance that to me, and I've been saying this from the beginning, is summer in a bottle. It is perfect for any occasion, but I think that it's really best if you take it like on holiday or on vacation to a warm location, right? Anywhere where the weather is warm or hot or a very hot summer day, this is perfection. That is where this fragrance will shine the most. If it's kind of like a kind of warm day, yeah, you can pull this fragrance and I'm sure that you will enjoy it. But I tell you that this blooms the best on a very hot summer day. Let us know if you picked up Taskeen Marina and how do you feel about it? Has yours had a chance to sit? And how do you feel about it now? Are you planning to use it this summer? The next fragrance that I want to share with you is one of my favorite fruity fragrances within my Middle Eastern fragrances collection. And this one is from AFNAN and this one is 9 a.m. Pour Femme. Now 9 a.m. Pour Femme is truly a fruit-centric fragrance. It has some grapefruit and raspberry and black currant, and I can't remember what other notes, but it does have like a collection, like when you sniff it, you're going to pick up on that collection of fruity notes. But clearly to my nose, I do get the black currant and the raspberry, and I get like some grapefruit. But it is a fragrance that what I love about it is because you guys know that through my Middle Eastern fragrances journey, I've shared with you several fruit-centric fragrances, and I've told you that they're like fruit bombs to me. And I just really don't like a fruit bomb fragrance. What I love about this one is that you are going to enjoy a fruity scent that is not like sickly sweet or overpowering or overwhelming or obnoxious in any way, or much less, of course, a fruit bomb. This is a very nicely balanced fragrance. It is musk based, but the musk is not animalic. It's a very smooth blend, and it performs beautifully because sometimes you get these fruity fragrances that are musk based and they're, way too smooth and they disappear almost immediately. And this one has been in my collection for quite a long time. And now that it's had a chance to sit, I can tell you that it's giving me easy 8 hours without having to overspray. And you never lose that essence of the fruitiness of the fragrance, which I absolutely love. The one thing that I did want to caution you on when it comes to 9 a.m. Pour Femme is that the thing about this fragrance that makes it very, very summery, versus other fruity fragrances that I may have in my collection is that there is a bit of a suntan quality to the fragrance. And I've been saying that from the beginning, but now that it's had a chance to sit, that suntan lotion kind of scent is very present. Is it dominant? No, because the dominant notes here are all those fruity notes, but that suntan lotion scent is definitely present. So just keep that in mind. The next fragrance that I have for you, you will recall the first time that I hauled this fragrance here on the channel, and then when I reviewed it for you, and I have had it in multiple lineups through time because I absolutely love it. And this one is from Lattafa, and this is Asad Zanzibar. Now, if you have been on a Middle Eastern fragrances journey for a while, you're probably wondering, okay, Arahi, that is a gents fragrance. Yes, this fragrance was definitely released for the gents, but it just so happens that the notes pulled me and I decided to pick it up. And I thought that it would most likely be a masculine leaning fragrance that I would have to layer with something a bit fruity and floral to just, bring it to at least a unisex level or leaning a tad to the feminine side. But to my surprise, and you guys may remember my reaction, this fragrance to me is perfectly unisex. And now that it's had a chance to sit, because it's been with me for quite a long time, this is definitely a unisex fragrance that I think I can see a lady or a gent wearing without a problem. This is a fragrance that is perfection for the summer. It has some iris, it has some lavender. So this is a purple florals lover's dream summer, kind of vacation fragrance. It does have some coconut water, but interestingly enough, guys, with this fragrance, the note is supposed to be coconut water, but I get a very, very creamy coconut. The feel of this fragrance is that like if you're at the beach and you are sitting literally in the sand and the ocean is in front of you and you can smell that salt water and you can smell the seaweed and everything that comes with the sense of being at the beach. You're going to be immediately placed at the beach with this fragrance. And at that, let's say that you're in the Caribbean, in some Caribbean island somewhere, sitting again in the sand on your chair or on a towel in the beach. And there is someone that passes with coconuts. And they decide to just, uncap one for you and you drink that coconut water and then they uncap it a bit more for you and then you scoop up that soft coconut pulp. That is the coconut that I get here. And that entire vibe, that entire feel that I just described with you, that is where this fragrance will place you. I absolutely love this fragrance, have loved it since first sniff, and nothing has changed. And this is a fragrance that although it will put you directly, directly at the beach, it's not a fragrance that is just limited for that. But I definitely think that this is most specific for the summer season. You can get away with the spring and summer and maybe the beginning of the fall. But I would definitely say that this is truly a summer fragrance. Let us know if you picked up Asad Zanzibar because I personally hype this fragrance so much here on the channel. It is such an incredibly beautiful fragrance and such a deep love. The next fragrance that I have for you is not going to come up as a surprise because this is definitely what I would call at this point like a must summer fragrance within affordable Middle Eastern fragrances. And this one is Khair Fusion. This is a fragrance that it's supposed to be inspired by Kiyali's Eden Sparkling Lychee. So of course, this is a fragrance that definitely has the note of lychee, and at that, it is a very dominant fruity note. This is a very fruity fragrance that is also sweet. It's not excessively sweet, but it is definitely sweet. That it is a fragrance that also has a bit of florals, and it is just a fun, this is what I would call a fun, a free, joyous kind of vibe and feel fragrance for the summer. One of the things that I love the most about this fragrance is that while everybody's talking about its fruitiness, which is beautiful because there's different fruits, it's not just the lychee. What I really pick up on and I love is a candied violet. And it is described as a candied violet, but for me, I pick up on the violet, and then that violet has like a sweetness that I have rarely found in any other fragrance. And I really do enjoy that in this one. So please know that there is a bit of a powderiness going on at the dry down with this fragrance. There's no oud, and again, it is a fragrance that is fun without being juvenile. I think that this is another basic staple for the summer within Middle Eastern fragrances, a true must. Let us know what you think about Khair Fusion, because I know so many people enjoy this fragrance. This next fragrance is from Paris Corner, and to me this is the quintessential green summer fragrance that's not going to be like, because I'm sure that you would agree that some fragrances have that green quality and it's like overdone, so then the fragrance is like a bit much, especially if you're talking about a very hot summer day. But this fragrance is just absolutely beautiful in its greenness, let's call it, right? And this one is Eternal Meadows from Paris Corner. Now, this is a fragrance that, as I said before, you know, it's going to give you that feel of like walking, not necessarily through a field, but it's going to give you the feel of walking like on very green, perfectly recently cut during the summer season grass. It doesn't necessarily smell like grass, but you are going to get that feel. That is the feel that you're going to get from the fragrance, because it truly is a green fragrance that is musk based. The fragrance also has like a very calming quality. You know, it has some wood, some patchouli, and it definitely has the note of lavender. And I wonder if the fragrance gives you that calming effect coming from the lavender, because this is definitely a fragrance that is very soothing and very calming. It is perfect for, you know, one of those smoldering hot summer days where it is so hot that you can't even sit still. This is the perfect fragrance to wear on such a day, because in addition to being smooth and beautiful and smelling exquisitely perfect, because it smells so good, guys, this is definitely also a very mood altering, to calm you kind of fragrance. So this next fragrance is one that as soon as you see it, you're going to remember me talking about it several times here on the channel, because it is actually one of my favorite freshies. And guess what? It is supposed to be for gents, but I actually find this fragrance to be unisex, leaning a tad to the feminine side. And I've had a couple of gents through time leave me comments where they're not very happy that I'm saying that this fragrance leans a bit to the feminine side, but that's what I get from it, especially now that mine has been sitting in my collection for quite a long time. So this is from Swiss Arabian, and this is Shaghaf Men. Now this fragrance, the name says it, it's supposed to be exclusively for the gents. But again, I love all the fragrances in this line, and I decided to give it a try. And I figured, you know what, if it's truly very masculine, I'll just, you know, give it to my husband. But I have to tell you that I have kept this fragrance because it is perfection. It is a freshie that is perfect for the summer season. And I love to wear it on its own, and I also love to layer with it. Here you're going to find some lemon, some sea notes, some cardamom. It is just absolutely beautiful. It is very fresh, but it is also fresh, spicy, and you are clearly going to pick up on that lavender note for sure, which adds to that freshness. If you are one of the ladies in the fam and you picked up this fragrance and you have been using it or you tried it, let us know what you think. Do you think that this is really unisex, leaning a tad to the feminine side, or do you think that it's truly unisex? Let us know. I'm just curious. The next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is from Rasasi, and you guys know how much I love the Rasasi fragrance house, and this one to me is like a must-have. If you are a jasmine lover or a white florals centric fragrances lover, this is a must. This is a fragrance that is a lifer for me and one that I take on every vacation. No matter what else I'm bringing, this is a fragrance that comes with me. And I'm speaking about Jasmine Wisp. Now, Jasmine Wisp is a fragrance that to me is perfectly balanced between the white florals and the fruity notes. Here you are going to find some passion fruit and some coconut, and the coconut is creamy. It balances very well with the jasmine. The jasmine is indeed the star of the fragrance, but it balances so well with those other notes. This is truly a beautiful fragrance that you just cannot go wrong with. You are so going to love this fragrance. This is my second bottle, and I'm sure that you can't see it, but this one is pretty low, and I'm just going to have to get another bottle. Thank God that they haven't discontinued it or, just gotten rid of it, because it is an absolutely exquisitely beautiful fragrance. Let us know, have you tried Jasmine Wisp and how do you feel about it? Is it a white florals fragrance that you really, really enjoy? The next fragrance that I have for you is from Swiss Arabian, and this one is Amber and Apricot. Now, I have to tell you, I've shared with you many times, not just in Middle Eastern fragrances videos, but if you watch all my videos, I'm sure that you've heard me say time and time again that I think that one of the hardest notes to get right in any fragrance is the note of apricot. There is just something about it. But here, this has got to be one of the most realistic apricot notes that I have in my entire collection. This is a fragrance that has some passion fruit in addition to that, apricot. It is very ambery, as to be expected. The name says it, and it is musk based. But when I tell you it is just perfect for the summer season, it is a very, very balanced ambery fragrance. In addition to the apricot, you're going to find some pomegranate, some figs, and vanilla. And of course, it is musk based, as I said before. But I tell you, the juice here is just so exquisitely beautiful and different, because the mix of the apricot and the figs and the pomegranate is a very unexpected, pleasant scent that is really going to capture your heart. Let us know if you've tried amber and apricot and how do you feel about it. The next fragrance that I have for you is one that was inspired by one of Jo Malone's top sellers, and that would be wood sage and sea salt. And I am speaking about Paris Corner Autobiography, and this is Salty Breeze. Now, Salty Breeze is such an incredible fragrance because I love Jo Malone fragrances in general. I own several, but the problem with certain Jo Malone fragrances is the performance. You can't get them to last, at least they won't last on my skin more than 5-6 hours, if I'm lucky at the most. But with this one performs beautifully because you are going to get a full day wear. And I'm not here today to really tell you how spot on is it compared to the one that it was inspired by, but what I can tell you is that you will not be disappointed. To me here, the dominant notes are sage, sea salt, and seaweed for sure. This is a very fresh, very aromatic fragrance that is perfect for a very, very hot summer day. And it is a fragrance that you can use for just about any occasion, day or night, during the summer season. I would not pull this for the fall or the winter at all. You could definitely use it during the spring, but I think that this is perfection for the summer. If you've been with me on this journey for a while, this will not come as a surprise because this next one is from Paris Corner, and this is Pear Potion. Now guys, this is a fragrance that had me on a chokehold for the longest time, even past the summer season. I remember still using this fragrance during the fall, to the tune that this is actually my second bottle. And I have to tell you that the thing about this fragrance is that there is some apple here, some pear, there are florals, but the one that really, really comes through for me is the jasmine. And there is a note of caramel here that is just unbelievable. It takes the pear and wraps it in a creamy caramel sweetness that is just perfection. But what I really, really love about this fragrance is that the pear is so realistic. It is ripe, it is sweet, and it is smooth. You know how sometimes you have a ripe pear and you either bite into it or you cut into it and it is a bit tough, like a little bit crisp and hard. Well, this pear, no, this one is perfectly right because when you cut it, it's going to be creamy. When you bite into it, it's going to be creamy and juicy. It is just perfection. That is what I get from this fragrance. Do I pick up on the apple? I do a little bit, but that is not the star. And this one, even though it is my second bottle, has had quite the chance to sit because I did pick it up when I noticed that I was already, halfway through my first bottle and I hadn't even had it for 2 months because I love to layer with this one. I have a layering combination fragrances video here on the channel where I give you several options for layering with Pear Potion and another one that's coming up. But when I tell you that this fragrance is so addictive, please let us know if you have this one in your collection because I know so many Femme members picked it up when I did and really fell in love with it. The next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is not going to come as a surprise because this is another one. This one and its sibling, which as soon as you know which one I'm talking about right now, you're going to know, if you've been with me, exactly which is the other one that will follow. But this one is from Paris Corner Emir. And this one is Vibrant Orange and Neroli. Now guys, so this is also my second bottle. This is a fragrance that when it came out, I just couldn't even believe that they had been able to really put this fragrance together so masterfully because this one is inspired by Meadows Sundays. And I am not here to talk about, spot on or OGs versus, inspired by. No, I'm not doing that today. But I'm going to tell you that if you have always wanted the Byredo Sun-Dazed fragrance to perform better for you, then you may want to try this one if you haven't already, because you may be very, very pleasantly surprised. This fragrance smells fabulous. This is just incredible. This is not truly a gourmand, but there's like a yumminess to it that I really can't explain. This is really all about the note of orange blossom, and it's like orange and neroli truly, but I also pick up on some orange blossom because there's a level of intensity that gives me orange blossom here. It has a similar vibe. It's not the same fragrance at all, but it's going to have the same way that, Killian in Love Don't Be Shy does that orange blossom note. You are going to pick that up here. But this is a fragrance that when I tell you, it is just absolutely incredible. It is so addictive. You're going to go around just spraying it, even if you're not going or doing anything, or even wearing another fragrance. You're going to go and spray it when you first get it because it is that addictive and that incredible. When I first started talking about this fragrance, it sold out I don't know how many times. And I don't know if I was the one selling it out, but I know that it sold out so many times. And now I think it's finally available. So if I find it, just like all the others, I will definitely leave a link for you and a discount code if I have one for you. But when I tell you, if you have not tried this fragrance, you really need to get your nose on it because I am telling you, most likely you are going to fall deeply in love. So the next fragrance that I have for you is the sibling of the one that I just shared with you. And this one is Vibrant Vetiver Delight, also from Paris Corner Emir. This is another one, I'm telling you, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I have been crazy about these fragrances for such a long time. This one is supposed to be inspired by also a Byredo fragrance, and this one would be Bal d'Afrique. And that is a fragrance that I also own and that I love, but I did want it to perform a bit better. And this one definitely delivered. And I have to tell you that I do layer this one with the OG and it works so beautifully because this is just beautiful. There's some vetiver here. There's some bergamot. It is just such perfection for the summer season and any season of the year. That is the good news that I have about these fragrances, that I just think that they're perfect for any season of the year, but they shine the most, in my opinion, during the summer season, which is why they're in this lineup. In addition to the bergamot and the vetiver, you're going to find here some jasmine and some violet. And this is definitely a musk-based fragrance, but the musk is not animalic, but it is like a level 3 to 4, which means that the musk is very present and you are going to pick up on it. In both of these fragrances, in Orange and Neroli and in Vetiver Delight, the musk is definitely the foundation of the fragrance and it is very present. It's not dominant, but it is definitely very present. This is the fragrance that I think is perfect for any age, for any season of the year, as I said before, and any occasion, day or night. The next fragrance that I have for you is one of those fragrances that is just like a very clean and ethereal, very minimalist, elegant fragrance. Not elegant in a mature kind of way, but just like a very elegant, minimalistic beauty kind of fragrance. And this one is from Emir, but this is from the Factory collection, and this one is Rich Santal. Now, Rich Santal is a fragrance that allegedly was inspired by Le Labo Santal 33. This is a fragrance that is absolute perfection, in my opinion, for any season of the year. But it just so happens that, again, I think you will get the most out of it during the very warm days of summer or just very warm climate regardless. That's when I think you're going to get the most benefit out of this fragrance, because in very cold weather, while it does perform nicely and you're still going to enjoy it, it's not going to give you that soothing, calming effect. There is just something about this fragrance that is just perfection, just like Le Labo Santal 33. This fragrance is a beautiful combination of violet and iris. And at that, of course, it has a very powdery dry down. It also has some woodiness in the background at all times, and it is a bit warm spicy. The woodiness does add a bit of character to the fragrance, adding to that very minimalistic elegance feel that you're going to get with the fragrance. But at all, this is one of the easiest pull fragrances that you could have in your collection, and one that you can use for just about any occasion, day or night. The next fragrance that I have for you is also from Emir Paris Corner, but this one is Mango Punch. And of course, you know that this is my second bottle. Now, this is a bottle that, although it is my second bottle, it has been sitting in my collection for quite a long time because this was actually a backup bottle. This fragrance has been discussed in many forums, and it's been said that it was inspired by this or this other fragrance. Well, I'm not going to get into all that today, but here is what I am going to tell you. This is one of those fragrances that you have to spray on skin. First of all, this is one of those fragrances that when you receive it, you need to spray it out, put the cap back on, and let it sit in a dry, kind of dark place for at least a couple of weeks before trying it on skin. It is just a given. This is one of those. This is a fragrance that if you try on paper, if you just spray it in the air and you try and pick up the essence of it, you're probably going to miss out on it. This is one of those fragrances that you have to spray on your skin and allow it to interact with your skin chemistry, and then it will bloom and reveal what it's going to give on your skin. This is a fragrance that when I first received it, I really did enjoy it immediately. But for a while, I was a little bit confused because I kept thinking that what I was picking up in the opening of the fragrance was like a very green mango. And with time, as the fragrance had a chance to sit, as my first bottle had a chance to sit and I kept trying it on skin, I started to realize that what I was really picking up was the combination of the note of mango with the iris. That combination really was giving, at least to my nose and on my skin, it was giving me like a green mango, not mango skin, but like a green mango kind of scent. And after a while, I did realize, no, that's really the combination of the mango and the iris. But that combination is also what makes the fragrance so special because it is just very different. To me, Mango Punch is just perfection for the summer season, but you can get away with it for just about any other season. And it's beautiful for layering also. But to wear on its own, it is just perfection. And you can basically wear it for any occasion, day or night. This is such a versatile, easygoing fragrance. To me, this is an easy pull mango fragrance. It's not necessarily tropical. It's not necessarily too fruity. The mango is realistic. It's not a super ripe mango, but it is definitely a ripe mango. Let us know what you think about Mango Punch because I know many fam members did pick it up. The next fragrance that I have for you is one that I like to call my Queen Yara fragrance because this is my favorite Yara of all the Yaras that I've picked up. And I know that Asad Zanzibar, which I shared with you before, which comes in this bottle but in blue, has the same bottle. But I don't consider that to be a Yara. That is Asad from the Asad collection, right? Like Asad Zanzibar, Asad Bourbon, or Asad something else. But this is from the Yara collection. And this one is definitely my favorite because this finally gives me that very realistic strawberry note, juicy, ripe, sweet, strawberry note that I've been looking for in so many fragrances. And here it is done to perfection. This fragrance is so fun and flirty and perfect for the summer season. But I have to tell you that I would pull this right now after having a chance to sit for so long. I would pull this for any occasion, day or night. I absolutely love this fragrance, and I think it has been done in an exquisite way. Now, the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you, I don't think is going to come as a surprise to some of you that I know how much I love this fragrance, but to some others, this may come a little bit as a surprise because from this collection, my favorite fragrance is Fleur Oud. And while I did think about pulling Fleur Oud, because you guys know that any opportunity that I have to pull Fleur Oud and put it in a lineup, I do. Today I decided to step out of the box and bring you my second favorite from that Maison collection, which is Époque Artistique. This fragrance, oh my. This is your special occasion during the summer sexy fragrance. This is my second bottle, and this is a fragrance that I can't speak highly enough of it. This is not even one, can I layer with it? Have I layered with it? Yes, but this is not even one that I like to layer with. This is just a fragrance that is so incredibly beautiful and sexy and performs exquisitely. High compliment getter. It's just going to make you feel a certain kind of way. I can't really explain it. So while Fleur Oud is more about that sophistication and elegance, this one is about that sensual allure of sexiness. It is just an absolutely well done blend fragrance. Here you have some cardamom and pepper, which give it a touch of like fresh spiciness that at times may come across as warm spicy. In the florals, you have some lavender, which adds to that freshness, and geranium. And of course, you have a very present vanilla. But when I tell you that this is a fragrance, and what I love about it is that this fragrance to me is truly unisex. This does not lean to the feminine. This does not lean to the masculine side. I've heard people say that this leans to the masculine side, and I've heard others say that it leans to the feminine. I don't think that it leans anywhere, but that's just my opinion. I think that this is truly a unisex fragrance. And if you have your partner wear it on skin, you are going to be quite surprised at the differences between the two of you because there's just something about this fragrance. It's almost like it just doesn't interact with your skin chemistry, but also with your character and personality. I just absolutely love it. I love all of the fragrances in the Cadillage Maison collection, but you guys know how I feel about Fleur Oud, and I have to tell you that Époque Artistique does not fall very far behind. So I decided that this time it would be about this one. So this next fragrance is not going to come as a surprise. This is like the cutie pie of my Middle Eastern fragrances, summer fruity fragrances that I think are perfect for holiday or vacations in a warm location. And this one is from Aroma Concepts, and it is Batik. Now this is my second bottle, and I have to tell you, this fragrance is so much fun. Now I have this second bottle, and then I have another one on backup, which is the larger bottle, because after a while they did end up launching like a larger bottle because this is very tiny. But what I love about this tiny bottle is that It fits everywhere. I can throw it in my tote bag, in my purse, in my beach bag, in my suitcase. It's never in the way. It's never too bulky. It is perfection. And this little bottle will get me through quite a while, at least 2 weeks, even if I'm layering and spraying like crazy all day long. This fragrance, this fragrance is truly all about the watermelon. This watermelon is the star and does not allow any other note to take a step before him. It is incredible. The watermelon here is very sweet and fruity and juicy. What I also love about this fragrance is that it does have other fruits like strawberry and tangerine. I do get a hint of the strawberry, but honestly, the watermelon just doesn't allow any other note to really shine. It's really, at least to my nose and on my skin, it's all about the watermelon. But what I really, really love, in addition to that very realistic watermelon note, is that there is an aquatic feel to this fragrance that I can't shake off no matter how I layer it. I don't know what is it about that, guys, but whenever I layer with this fragrance, that aquatic quality of the fragrance comes forth and says, step away, because yeah, the watermelon is the star, but I am an aquatic fragrance. And that is what you get. And that allows the fragrance to become such like a, tropical, warm, vacation, summer, very, very summery scent. This to me is all about the summer. You can use it during the spring also, but to me, this is all about the summer. No, I can't imagine using this during the fall, much less during the winter season. This is truly a unisex fragrance that is perfection for the summer, in my opinion. The last fragrance that I want to share with you would be, of course, we can't talk about summer fragrances and not talk about a musk-based kind of second skin fragrance, because those are very, very important. Those are your no-brainer. Go pull it. I don't even have time to think about it today. Just go and pull it and you'll be fine on a very, very warm or hot, smoldering hot kind of day. And for that, I have to tell you that the best that I have found within Middle Eastern fragrances is Eternal Musk. Hands down. And now that this one has had a chance to really sit for a long time in my collection, guys, this is just perfection. This is just absolute perfection. I dare say that there is only one other fragrance, and I'm not going to get into all that in my collection, which is a niche fragrance that beats the quality of that skin scent that you get with this fragrance. This is all about the musk. The musk is definitely a level 5, and at that, the musk is a tad animalic. It's not like anything that you should really be concerned about. You should only be concerned, though, if you're not into musk fragrances, because this is all about the musk. The dry down is definitely powdery, and it is a fragrance that it smells so, so good, guys. Skin has never smelled this good, to be honest with you. This is just perfection. And you know what I love to do with this fragrance? I don't do skin fragrances on the regular. So what I love to do is use it, sometimes to mix with other fragrances or layer with other fragrances for night, right? So for sleeping, there is something very soothing about this fragrance. If you use it, to like go to sleep at night, I don't know what it is, but it is absolute perfection. But what I do know is that if you are looking for a second skin scent for the summer, this one is a must, because this is perfection. Please let us know if you have Eternal Musk and your thoughts. All right, fam, so we've made it to the end of today's video, and I am so proud of us because we were able to cover 22 fragrances and not take 2 hours. And I even gave you a little bit of detail about each. Anyway, I am very curious to know which one of these fragrances you own. I know that some of you are probably going to own most of them if you've been with me on this Middle Eastern fragrances journey from the beginning, because we've enjoyed so many of these fragrances together. I want to thank you again for being with me on this journey, because as I pulled those fragrances and I started to talk about them, I was able to reminisce about different phases of this journey and how much I've learned and how much I've enjoyed so many of these fragrances. Anyway, let me know if you've tried any of the fragrances, your thoughts. Are you planning to try any new one? What are you planning to pull for the summer? As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.